In the Company of Champions, the debut by Magus Lord, side project of black metal project Lamp of Murmuur. A lot of projects going on right here. Mike, Lamp of Murmuur, briefly. Big fan, aren't you? Or you're enjoying it?
Yeah. We both are, aren't we?
Mm.
We've been into M, isn't it? Is his
Is this,
name?
yes, it is. I was going to touch on that later. But yeah, M, maybe short for Murmur, maybe.
Could be Murmur, could be something else. Could be Magus,
Could be Mag
uh,
or just Matthew
or just
or
Matt or Matthew or
yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, M sounds a little bit more mysterious, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
this is he's gone down a bit of a different route with this. It's not, although there's like black metal influence. This is probably more a he kind of calls it epic metal, like with like synths. There's sort of like a doom metal element to it, a little bit of a folk metal element as well, all wrapped up in a kind of black metal package in a way. Very different to what to a Lamp of Murmur.
I'm so surprised you didn't, when you're sort of going through subgenres there. You didn't mention Viking metal.
True. Yeah, I guess that's kind of tied in with epic, isn't it, in a way? But there is a
Yeah.
kind of strong Viking feel to it.
Well, when I put this on, the f- like what I pretty quickly got immediate vibes of Hammerheart by Bathory.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's got to be a big influence on this, right? Because it really, musically anyway, just reminded me so much of that kind of that early Viking metal that Bathory were doing.
Especially track one,
Yeah.
One Path to Calm Doom.
And
It
John, can I say before we go on, when I look at that title, and I won't do the impression, but I can't look at it without thinking of, without saying in my head, One Path to Calm Down in a sort of Northern Irish accent.
yeah, I see that.
Try that afterwards. And I
I
mean, you
will,
can do it
I
out
will.
loud, but
No, I won't. I won't. That song it kind of starts, doesn't it? It's got like this kind of synth introduction, builds up a bit of atmosphere, and then like the main riff is very like it's like a powerful, like you say, like that early Bathory, Viking era Bathory sound. When the vocals kick in, though, you can really tell it is Matthew.
it's not Matthews. Mervyn.
Marv.
M. We
Yeah,
stick
M.
to M.
We'll stick to M. Yeah, it does sound. It's got that classic like M sound from Lamp, so you can really hear it. See, the thing that I kind of pulled it, I touched on at the very start. You've got this kind of like doom metal like trope. Is he lets ideas like play out for quite a while, whether that's to sort of like build tension or to kind of just let the riff sit. There is like a kind of hypnotic element to it, which is quite cool. It's just like you're not going to get almost instant gratification from this album, are you? It's quite a kind of slow burn.
Well, I mean, lot the main songs of this album, you're looking at, they're kind of 10, 15 minute long pieces as well. So you do have to give it time. And I think attention as well when you're listening to it. It's got this kind of journey,
Yeah,
each of the songs, and which really works for it kind of conceptually, and the sound. So the length kind of works in that regards to the songs, because they feel like the sort of songs that he's done that need that sort of time to kind of breathe. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
They're,
Well,
they're, they're they're
I was
epic
gonna
in
ask.
sound, and I think that the epic kind of length suits it.
Yeah, and they do the changes are quite subtle, but they work really well. And then
Yeah.
when things do all kind of come together, like for example in track one, there's a kind of it all kind of really comes together at like 11:50. You've got this really great like chuggier, more heavy metal riff, but you've got these kind of like build up on the toms with this kind of like iron clanging
Yeah.
like sample with a synth kind of running underneath it, and it really did give that kind of like epic you kind of crank the volume and let that one like just wash over you kind of sound.
I found with sonically, with quite a lot of it, I felt like the guitars were more of a layer than anything too up front. I felt that there was a lot of emphasis more on the synths and the kind of orchestral parts he was putting in it. and the sounds and stuff. And that was really well done, all of those bits and attention to detail. Um, One thing I did like about this as well is that it's obvious he's using kind of processed drums on this, and he leans into it in a
Yeah.
way that it's not like he's trying to disguise the fact that they're those. He keeps them very simple. It's not like it's kind of a wash with fills and things like that.
No.
It's all
Yeah, yeah.
almost done as not, I don't want to say a loop, but they're kept simple, up quite loud as well. And
They're definitely at the front. But I'm glad you kind of touched on this because I did want to kind of bring in the conversation about the vocal, where the vocals sit when he does his singing vocals, because he kind of introduces this singing vocal quite a lot throughout this record, but it's never pushed to the front.
no,
It's almost like even under the guitars, which are kind of under the synths. It's very
yeah.
background. Do you think that he's done that because he's not so confident with his kind of singing parts? Because it's definitely a step lower than the raspy kind of black metal vocal.
Well, there's elements on it where I feel like they are treated more as a backing vocal. Um, but on track 4, in the Company of Champions, where there's a lot more,
Yeah.
um, a lot more sung vocals. They are, I wouldn't say they're pushed up, but they are probably at a similar level to the aggressive vocals, the more growled vocals in that. I mean, is this one of the first times he's really sung on like as
Yeah.
like a
I,
as like a lead on it?
I believe it is. And that's why I was kind of wondering. I wonder if that's why he sunk it down a little bit in the mix. Just maybe he's not as, confident with that sound. Because
Potentially, I think he's got a good voice for it though. I thought his vocals suited it.
It did, but I would have just liked to hear it a bit more up
Yeah,
front. But other than that, one thing I want to say about this as well is like each song felt very different, didn't it? I think track 2, I break the immortal seal.
yeah.
It had a lot more like a black metal approach to it.
Well, just in
Than
pace and stuff as well, right? With the
Yeah,
drums.
because you
Yeah.
sort of like had a blast. I'll call them blasts, but they were just quite. They weren't like full on top
No, no,
speed
no.
ghost notes, but they were like kick snare, but to a higher pace. But it had an almost kind of like early Dimmu sound with these kind of horned synths.
Yeah,
There was a kind of old school like black metal influence in that sense.
yeah, yeah. There was this kind of sort of symphonic nature
Yes.
to it, but not. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the whole symphonic thing, but I I liked his approach to it
Hmm.
in this. And as you said, there was kind of, it was more like the kind of horn bits going on and things like, as opposed to just kind of like pad sort of synth
Yeah.
things. It had a bit of a percussive feel in places,
Yeah.
because of that. And I thought, I mean, you can tell with this, like, it's him doing it, and he's got the focus on there, and he's a very excellent musician, and I feel like he's very good at knowing what to do at the right places and what not to do. I do feel that I do feel like the songs are not overly complex.
No, they're not.
Like, he's trying to keep it fairly straight, but then what he's doing in those sections is very intelligent songwriting wise, and what he's doing with the instrumentation there.
Yeah, I agree with about 90% of that sentiment. I
Well, I don't want
think
to hear about the
that
10%.
okay.
Just leave it
Well,
at
thanks
that.
for listening. If you like what you heard today,
Tell me, what bit did you not agree with?
I think
I'm probably
for
wrong.
me for
Yeah.
me some of the length was a bit too. I think like some sections maybe went on a bit too much.
Mhm.
I think there could have just been a slight amount of refining just to make some other parts a bit more impactful. But I do understand, like you said, you touched on earlier about that being a bit more of the epic journey as to why it is that way. It's just I kind of wanted it a bit more immediate, if that makes sense.
Do you think there's an element of that in when you're kind of doing this music on your own and you're sequencing it? Because when you're putting it together, you're not necessarily in a room playing it, that you might not hear,
That's
especially with like
true.
multiple members. you haven't got anyone at any point going, do you know what? I think this is a bit long.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
wonder if that's the case, and maybe when you're putting the songs together, you're not potentially listening to the whole thing and having that kind of, you're probably maybe stopping and starting a bit when you're putting it together in that fashion. I wonder if that is a part of it, and if it was done with a live band, maybe it would have they would have shortened slightly because you maybe would have felt the drag a little bit more when you're performing it.
That's a very good point, man. That'd
Do you
be
think?
interesting.
Do you agree with 100% of that?
I, I do agree with 100% of that.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
it'd be nice to know Magus's take on that, because only he knows,
I
only he
know.
knows
And I
that.
don't think he's going to comment on this if you keep fucking changing his name.
Well, all right, we'll just go with M. Um, okay, one thing as well I would like to touch on, and he does this a lot on his kind of Lamp of Murmur stuff. Include a cover.
I feel like it's a bizarre choice to do.
Yeah, so track 7, Seven Rains of track 5, Seven Rains of Fire. It was a cover from a band called God's Tower from 1997. Uh, I had never heard of this band before,
Same.
and I really don't think the song fit or was enjoyable in many ways.
I listened to it and was like, I didn't. You told me it was a cover just before I heard it, and so I wouldn't have known. And I listened to it and I thought this doesn't really fit for me.
Yeah,
I don't really like the song.
yeah,
Um, and I've know nothing about the band as well. Like, I don't know who they are and kind of what their style is. Um, I know he did it on, was it Submission and Slavery? He did a Christian Death cover.
yeah,
And
yeah. I believe it
I
was that
remember
album.
enjoying that, and I like that band anyway. But yeah, this one didn't really do it for me. I'm interested to see, because this is going to get a physical release, whether the cover will be included.
I
Um,
imagine it will be. I imagine it will be.
I don't think it needed it. I think
I
you could
don't.
have had the whole, the album was long enough as it was without having to add that on. I think it was
Yeah,
nearly 40 minutes anyway, before that.
it almost
Um,
changes the whole journey of the album, doesn't it? How
I won't listen to track 5. Like, the album for me ends at the end of track 4, because track 4 is really epic. It
Yeah,
really is, and it's got. I love the kind of. It had a bit of folk sort of whimsy in there with sort of, I don't say pan pipes, but you had like that sort of like
yeah.
flutes kind of things going off, like woodwinds and all those kind of aspects, done really really well as well. And I really enjoyed that song as well. I liked that he mixed it up. There was some aggressive vocals in there as well. I can't say aggressive.
That kind of
The more,
raspy black metal vocal.
yeah, he had that in there too. It was mainly kind of sung led, but he had those aspects of it too. It sort of mixed it up nicely. Um, there's some really cool riffs in there as well. There's some nice like harmonized kind of heavy metal type epic
Yeah,
kind of riffs
there
in
was a
there as
really
well.
cool. There was like a really cool gallopy like triplet riff around the
Yeah,
6 minute
yeah,
mark
yeah.
that really hit home that kind of heavy metal power,
Yeah,
fantasies
really,
kind of sound.
really good. And I thought that was a really good ender for the album. So I feel like the cover to me feels tacked on as well as not really fitting.
Have to agree. Have to agree. I'd be keen to see where this goes next. Where like if he does more stuff with this, because I think the more he does with it, the better he's going to get at this sound.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of, if you listen to like the Lamp discography, he does kind of. They do seem to get better, don't they?
I mean, another thing to say about this is like, how good is it that he can? It's a- it's it's a shift in style, isn't it, from Lamp of Murmur, what he's done here, and he's done it at such a level that it's quite amazing to think this is his first release doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's clearly got a good understanding of these kind of sounds,
Yeah,
and what to kind of put into them. I'd actually really like to hear a symphonic black metal album by him, because I think track 2, that I Break the Immortal Seal, um, that was my kind of standout on this record, and
yeah,
I would love to hear him kind of take that kind of Dimmu Borgir approach, like early Behemoth, that kind of very horn based black metal.
yeah.
I think that'd be really cool to hear, but I'm excited to see what comes next.
It was probably my highlight as well, and I'm really I think it was a really good move putting in something like that within the release because,
Yeah,
the other main 2 tracks, track 1 and track 4, they're of a similar-ish sort of pace.
yeah.
So to have something in there that's going faster, and I love that change as well in track 2 where he's doing the faster stuff, but then he keeps the pace up, but he changes it slightly to like
It's he changes the beat to a very straight kick snare beat.
yeah.
Do you know what? That was actually at 316 as well. So I made sure I
Oh, did
jotted down the
you?
time.
A
Yeah,
Stone Cold.
the little stone
Stone
cold. I
Cold
think.
change.
Yeah, I think he did that on purpose.
Well, he should have had a glass break as he did the change.
That would have been so cool. That would
Um,
have fit really well as well, actually.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
could have worked, couldn't it?
with that moment, you had the kind of synth. The synth was giving the lead melody in that, and yeah, that worked really well. That song.
Yeah, man. It's a good it's good. I'm really intrigued to see if he does more with it. But even if he doesn't, I think this is a solid release and like it's a really cool delve from him into this area of black metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. All right. Listen. Let us know what you thought about it if you did check this out, and if you've what you kind of compare it to with other
Can I
Lamp
apologize
releases.
to M as well for John's fucking
Listen.
calling you
How am I to know?
all sorts of names under the sun?
How am I to know? Let us know, M, if you're watching.
Yeah.
What does it
Yeah, I'm
stand
sure
for?
he'll do that. Keeping it his identity secret, then this fucking ass,
But
he
do you know
decides to
what?
reveal it.
Every time we've somewhat asked bands, they have low key kind of replied.
We've got a lot of
Uh,
replies, haven't we? Well,
yeah,
not a
we
lot,
had
but we've got a few.
final dose and War Moon Lord.
War Moon Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Vampiric Coffin. I really want Count Jeffrey to come back to us.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, listen, we put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest metal releases. So if you do like what you heard, give us a subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.